and back in those days, you know, if you had one cesarean, you had 4.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it makes me hurt thinking about it.
Yeah, it's really rare. I do have one client who had a C-section with her first one, an emergency one, and she said she had to really fight and advocate for herself to do the second one naturally, but she did it.
Oh my God. Well.
Yeah, you can see so much scar tissue. So yeah, a lot of times when we notice like we have an arm bigger than the other, or we got kind of a cellulite looking stuff in the back and the neck or the legs, especially when it's around a joint, that extra mass is also going to make it more difficult to be mobile.
It's very difficult.
And a lot of people don't realize that. They think that, cellulite and those toxins, it's just a vanity thing to get rid of. But, it's literally blocking your body from being able to be and work as its optimal self.
I'm so off balance. I mean, I can't even tell you how bad my house looks. And it's not because I'm a messy person. It's because it hurts to pick things up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you can see like all that. And it's a mix of, well, I mean, obviously you have to be inactive if you're, if you're in pain. You know what I mean?
Right. So, I'm hoping Jim's going to blow me tomorrow, so
nice.
My session, and then I'm doing it like I've had 2 sessions now. I'm doing it week after week instead of sporadic like how we were doing. He was doing everybody else but me, of course, because there's always something better to do. Like, oh, let's have a drink. Oh, let's go do this, and I'm tired. Can I do it tomorrow? And with both of us, so
yeah, absolutely.
It's crazy. So
was the cobbler's kids have no shoes?
Yeah, it kind of like that. So yeah, I can really tell. I mean, it was really terrible to look at. It was very.
It's much smaller. I mean, it's like I wish we'd have taken. I'm sure we have pictures of your arms.
Oh yeah.
In the body thing.
Oh, that's right. But it was. But
you can just tell, like you're just like seized up all night, just and your body, like your fascia remembers that impact. It remembers that shock. You know what I mean? So then you're just like in. Like frozen, just holding toxins there.
Well, that's it's funny. I finally decided. It's been several months. I went. Do you know Anne Marie Green?
No.
Oh, she does a lot of clearing and cleansing. She doesn't touch. She doesn't do. I mean, she's basically
like more Reiki type energy healer.
But she does. She studied all kinds of energy work. And she has a table. She's in Fisher's. Yes, but she's really interesting. I've known her for many years, and actually, I forgot she used to be an esthetician.
Oh, cool.
I mean, I never went to her. In fact, when I met her, she was doing lashes. She had a lash studio.
Oh, okay.
But then I didn't really know that side of her. I just met her through the other. And then the interesting thing is, she had to let her studio go during COVID, and then she got involved in all this. She does really great healing work, especially. It's like, you're carrying trauma around but she has a way of being able just to block it, through its symbols and all kinds of, spinal but she doesn't touch. Anyhow, so I thought I gotta get rid of whatever this is, and boy, she did a lot for me.
Nice.
But it was never really physical. She helped me get rid of a lot of emotional crap, and then I thought, I know there's toxins in there. I just know it. And from the trauma, the fall, and probably more than that. And then that's when I kept thinking, that's when you came into play. And then, it's like I know so much about trauma, I can't do it.
No, you can't remove that from yourself. You gotta have somebody else do that. But yeah, I could tell, obviously so much had to come out of the arm. A big part of what's this whole side of your back is also really 3 times the size of the other one.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
But yeah, definitely all goes together. When I work on my TMJ, like I haven't had my jaw lock up in a really long time, because I can stretch it out. I have the tools to fix it. But just like I was telling Dr. Jim, I'm like, I've talked about this for years. Is like I know that the source of the TMJ is trauma related. So until I release whatever that is, it's just slowly gonna like tighten back up. Obviously I can keep fixing it, but if I fix the trauma stuff, then it won't be tightening up like that, And obviously there's many different causes of like TMJ and stuff. It's not a one size fits all for my particular case. I know it's, trauma related. And I remember I was just asking myself, like, dude, why do I feel like, when I really started working on it from an energetic space a few years ago, I'm like, dude, why am I just holding my mouth shut? And we've talked about that before, like, because when you're little, they're like, hold your mouth shut. So I thought that I would have to actively hold it, but it was like 3 years ago, the dentist my mom works for, she was like, yeah, the only time your teeth are supposed to be touching is if you're eating. And I was like, mind blown. What? Like, I thought I was supposed to hold my mouth shut. And I just remember driving on the way back, I think it was from the dentist, and I was just like, why do I feel like I have to, like, hold that shut? And I had to tell myself, like, if I don't clench my mouth, it's not gonna, like, fall off, but something in my intuition was like, if I don't hold everything really tight, then it's gonna fall off, you know what I mean? So obviously that's, like, a trauma-related stuff, too. I wish there was, like, an easy button to just fix it, but we gotta approach it from multiple ways.
Well,
this is already going down a lot.
Good. That's my goal, because even I do so much with my left side of the body, and I always have because of that fall I had when I was 35, but, and I broke my right wrist.
And was it ice, or?
No, I fell down a flight of stairs I didn't know was there. Exactly like this time, but it was a different place, obviously. But I was out at Crown Hill Cemetery at a meeting. There was a nonprofit. I was on their board that was out there. And anyhow, I went to the restroom down the hall, and I was in outstanding physical condition at that time. And I fell down the steps I opened the door, the light was burned out in the hallway and everything, and all I can remember thinking is, what happened to the steps? What happened to the steps? And I was like 35, 36.
This was when you were at the bottom of the steps after you fell?
The top, yeah. I mean, all the way down.
Ooh.
I just thought, where's the floor? Where's the floor?
Oh.
And when I got to the bottom, my hand had hit, and that's the only thing that kept me. So I ended up having surgery on it a year later. The ambulance, you love this, EMTs, they couldn't figure out why they were coming to the cemetery to get somebody. That is the humorous part.
That is funny.
And David, who I was married to, that was my husband, he was out in the cemetery taking pictures because he loved it. So he was very creative. So anyhow, they went and got him, called me off to the hospital. Well, here I was in the basement of one of the old buildings out there, in Crown Hill, where they have very beautiful. It's
really pretty, yeah.
Anyhow, it was called the Life Center. That was the nonprofit. It's based on A Course in Miracles. Anyhow, and the good news was I was on the job, my extension Purdue job. So, and I did have surgery a year later because it never came back. And I was probably only the third surgery they'd ever done on this particular fracture, and I got my hand back. But, I was in pain like over a year.
Wow.
And it was, that's where I became ambidextrous. I had to. And that was in the days when, personal computers, anything was very limited. I had
like typewriters and stuff?
No, I had a desktop, but it was, I could only really type with my left hand.
Oh, so it's like a bird pecking, like peck, peck.
We had I had a flash drive. No, it was a floppy, I guess. But even then, we didn't use that stuff. We just basically,
it was more like a word processor kind?
It was.
Okay.
It was, and although they called it a computer, and it was, but the floppy, I didn't know how to use it. And I remember Jeff, he was our one person in the office he was a great tech guy, but he was an agriculture guy. He yelled at me one time the way I put the floppy in upside down.
That would be me. That would totally be me.
I'm like, Jeff, I don't know. Nobody taught me. We got computers in our desk when we didn't even know how to turn it on. We're like, what are we supposed to do? They said, well, here. We're like, oh my God. But technology has just shifted so dramatic.
Oh my gosh, I know.
This was in '86. That's not that long ago.
Yeah, it's wild. Oh yeah, there's a little gremlin. So we're getting the little gremlins out of her back and her arms. She had a fall a couple years ago. So, you know, in that time, a lot of extra mass has built up, kind of looks like cellulite. Like we worked on this arm last week, it was literally 3 times the size of the other arm. So that's not fat in there, that's toxins. A lot of times it'll look like cellulite, but also when you have more mass on your body, whether that is fat, whether that's toxic, you know, cellulite stuff, then you're not going to have the same level of mobility. Also, you know, she's lived with this for a while. I mean, it makes you tired. You can't do all the things that you want to do. So this is both, you know, sculpting out her back. It's going to make her back, like her back is already shrinking just from this. And then once we've gotten rid of a lot of the pain, inflammation, and toxins, she's going to have a lot more energy and she's going to be able to move a lot better. So this the arm was like, you know, where a lot of the pain was, but a lot of times if it'll start here, and then those toxins just build up and build up and build up, and then they can end up all the way in your wrist. And if the wrist starts hurting, that means there's toxins all the way built up to here. So I had to take off probably a month from sculpting, like even a week from just hooking people up to the flux machine last year, because I wasn't keeping up with my self-care and my sculpting arm. You know, part of this stuff gets filtered out through your body and part of it energetically goes into my body. So I have to do my own work on myself, make sure I'm getting massages, make sure I'm working out, you know. And with the kind of workout that clears this out, it's more of like a movement, like circles, like the vibration plate, not so much static heavy lifting, but it's about getting movement and momentum into those joints. And that's what's going to kind of shake off those toxins. But obviously, like when you know, she had to have surgery for the collarbone, so she's sitting there building up toxins, building up inflammation. You know, there's scar tissue that is blocking off the pathways for everything to flow and be cleared out. So this is tightening the skin. It's getting rid of the icky cellulite stuff that, you know, if there's cellulite on the body where you're seeing it, if you can see it, it's also causing pain. It's also connected to inflammation. You know, that stresses out our fascia. It's going to cause our body to be uneven. So when we clear this out, not only are we tightening the skin and getting rid of scar tissue and we're getting rid of cellulite, but we're also making this a lot more mobile. So, and then once she's more mobile, she's going to be a lot more active, you know, a lot of times. And then we can beat ourselves up like, oh man, like, why am I so tired? You know, why does this, you know, like you said, what, you know, why is the house a mess? This is dust. But, you know, we got to give ourselves grace, you know. And now she's here and we're fixing it. We have been doing her face, so she's been in quite a few of the live streams before. And then she came in last week and she was just like, man, my arm, it just hurts so bad. She was like, I wonder if there's something to do on your arm. Well, and then I'm like, well, obviously, Jane, you're a psychic. So if you're asking to do something to the arm, then that's probably your higher self saying that we should switch and, you know, work on healing your arm.
I didn't think about that part, but yeah.
So yeah, literally like before, you know, if I have more like challenging cases like this, like my wheels start turning like the day before I work on somebody. So just last night. And then on the way over here, you know, I dropped my doggy off at the dog sitter. She's amazing, Miss Levi. Oh my gosh, I'm so grateful we found her. Like, we don't even take him to the daycare anymore. We just go to Miss Levi's. There's a baby where. So yeah, so I was like thinking about, okay, so what should we do next? And I was thinking about how her arm was moving. And I was like, okay, it's just a week after her first session. And I mean, the skin is so much smoother, even though it's bruised and tender now, so we're not going to work on it.
Thank you.
But the size is so much smaller, and like it's just smooth. Where before it was like cellulite. It was like, you know. So and now it's super tight here. Now we're going to work on in here, and in the back we can already see it shrinking. But I'm sure she has more scar tissue and stuff. She does have a little knot here. I mean, when you're held up like that, that's how people will get repetitive motion injuries, just by like sitting and stuff, you know? Like I had a lot of fascia tightness, like the fascia just starts to form weird ways. Like after my dad died, I would just drive around the roundabouts for like hours and listen to music or listen to stuff on YouTube, listen to books on tape. And just from all of that sitting, I built a lot of like It's like a scar tissue in your fascia is what it feels like over the hips from just sitting, because I was constantly in that position, right? And, you know, usually at work I'm up, down, standing, sitting, like, you know, you guys see me on the live streams. Oh, Lane, welcome back. I'm glad you got your phone.
God, I didn't know we were online live. Or I was talking away about the good old days when we had starting to get computers on our desk.
I remember having like a first like I remember my dad used to be the treasurer at the church, and at the time internet was not that common, so I think I was like maybe 5, so it had to be like early 90s, maybe 94, 95, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just remember going and playing on the typewriter all the time, and like the typewriter, and then you'd have to use like the whiteout, and then you could switch it to the red ink on the typewriter, and changing the what was that? The ink, but the ink was like on a vacuum belt kind of thing, you know?
That's been a while.
Yeah, I mean, it was 94, 95, and I just remember my dad being like, yeah, this computer in here is talking to a computer in Utah.
Oh.
So it wasn't internet, but it was intranet, so that you could still talk within a system, almost like a walkie-talkie thing. And I was like, whatever, you're making that up. They can't do that. And like, now look at us, right? We're sitting here talking to like 88 people in the chat on a video screen. I remember that being on like a Pee Wee Herman had like a booth, and you could go in the booth and it would be like you could talk to somebody on video.
Wow.
But it just seemed like make-believe, right?
When I was at Purdue Extension, you know, because it was extension service, we used to they'd send out news every week via the internet, but we didn't have email then or anything like that.
So how would you get it?
Well, everything came out in one large stream from Purdue. And it wasn't called email, though. It was just, you open it up, and it was just there. It was like all the different schools of Purdue would post that I was associated with.
Would they be categorized at least?
No, they just came through.
So you have to read everything, whether it's like relevant to you or not?
Well, you know, remember I
just wait for somebody else to tell me what to do.
Well, I know it. Purdue Extension, you know, is School of Agriculture, School of Family and Consumer Sciences, and then they had a youth department too. So we worked with everything. So yeah, everything came through. I would get ag news, agriculture. And
that's big there. I mean, that had to be super big there then.
It's an ag school. So, I mean, that's who I worked with. School of Agriculture, School of Family and Consumer Sciences, and then, you know, they had the youth department. It was 4-H and all that. So literally, I got everything. Because that's how they did it. I mean, that's all they could do. I remember when I first started working there, it was like in 82, they used to have a big clunky Indiana computer, you know, in the office. That's when I was up by Muncie. They literally would turn the computer on and it would spit out reams and reams and reams of paper. They weren't individual sheets. They were the long old rolls of all the ag news, agriculture news. What was up about the stock, the ag updates, and it was pretty wild when you look back. But that's how they did it then. That's all they had. Oh, God, that's a big one. Ouch, ouch, ouch.
Yeah, you got big ones up in here too. But this is a big thing of what will keep your neck from not being tight too, is this thickness up here, and that's like all toxins. So you've seen me on here before where we've done somebody's face multiple times, and then we have to flip them over and do the back of the neck because we got to get that part tight too. And, you know, there's a lot of different workouts that you can do to help with, like, the neck, you know, the neck hump thing. But then we also have to get rid of, the toxins that built up over top of that. So this is helping her back look better. It's helping her arms look better. It's helping her neck look better.
My arms, oh my God, it looked like layers of fat were just hanging from them.
Yeah, that one is like so smooth. Now if you like feel the texture of this
Yeah.
one versus this one, totally different texture. Like obviously this one has like a lot more elasticity. There's still a lot of stuff in there.
It looked terrible. It looked like it was almost like skin on bone. I mean, I
Yeah.
know there's muscle in there, but it's really hard to lift weights or do anything when you can't.
Yeah, like you can't even lift your
It
arm
hurts.
right.
It
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah, one thing that's amazing about the frequency-specific microcurrent, it was nothing that I was expecting. Obviously, I knew it got rid of scar tissue, but I was just really thinking of that, like, as an esthetician, just, like, skincare-wise. And, you know, if people have had surgery, you know, they had surgery on joints or whatever, same thing, that's going to block off certain areas. The knees might get bigger. So, yeah, we are fixing things aesthetically, but when certain things are bigger where they shouldn't be, that also, you know, stops us from moving our best, you know, living our best life.
Oh.
I've broken a lot of bones in my
That's
past. I think in my 20s, I think 23 and 24,
God.
I was in a cast. I was just in so many casts.
That's amazing.
I try to stop doing stupid stuff, but
Well, that's good.
I've just reduced it. I still do stupid stuff,
Well,
but a little bit less. You know, I try to not put myself in crazy situations. Try. You know what I also say is trying is for losers, but we do our best.
I've only had 2 breaks, and they were both on my right side. One was my right wrist, and then years later, which is this one, it was my collarbone. Now, I had surgery on the wrist because it didn't move, but the collarbone, it healed on its own. So the collarbone, the fractures, I mean, it's healed over perfectly fine. But even though I was in therapy, I still don't have all the movement, and there's still pain. And that's why I'm like, I know there's toxins in there. So
Well, and a lot of times, you know, people just don't know much about like the fascia and the toxins and
Right.
stuff. So, you know, doctors are really trained for medicine surgery. You know, like my brother had a repetitive motion injury on his shoulder. His insurance ended up paying for it when he was young. What his insurance ended up paying for, we can do this non-invasively and remove those toxins and move that scar tissue without the surgery. Because obviously surgery is going to cause more scars.
yeah,
And sometimes surgery is necessary. I had all 4 of my wisdom teeth extracted because it was like right before I turned 18. All my teeth were naturally pretty straight. And then I saw the wisdom teeth going in sideways like this. And I was like, nope, book that appointment. Book the appointment with the facial surgery. And they're like, well, it might straight out. I was like, nah, you know what I mean? I grew up on welfare. So I'm not going to have insurance for another 5 months. Let's go ahead and get that taken care of. And I know there's a lot of, you know, holistic thought processes about not getting rid of them, but my mouth didn't have any more room for them. So it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced. I got,
oh, wow.
what do you call it? Dry socket on the top and the bottom. And to fix it, they have to stick this like medicated cotton tip inside the hole where the dry socket is. And then they pull it out. It feels like your gums are giving birth.
Oh.
And I've talked to many of my clients who have given birth multiple times. And I'd asked, and they've also had the dry socket. And I was like, yeah, when I had that, I felt like my mouth was giving birth. Every single one of them was like, I would rather give birth without drugs
Oh,
5 more times
no. Oh, no.
than ever have to deal with dry socket again.
Oh, my God.
So yeah,
Oh, what's that? Oh, that's that.
the cupping,
I don't, what are you doing
yeah.
today? The funny thing is, even Jim, when I showed it, he said, I don't want to show you my arm, but I did. He was like, oh my God. The funny thing is, he must have a really high level of trust for you, because I said, well, you know, Ella knows what she's doing. He just looked at me like he was in agreement. So I think he's fine.
Yeah. And that's so awesome that he can watch the healing process. I mean, once you have your movement back, I mean, it's been so long, and you go from being super injured to just not being in crazy pain, like surgical pain. You don't realize how, you know, much better it should feel. Yeah, these are getting dark right away. You get a lot of toxins in that side.
Well, you know, it's like I was writing a huge, publication and other things I was working on. I basically literally stopped. Oh, that really hurts. Oh my God, that's pulling it out.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
Oh, so, you know, it's like I didn't have the energy.
Yeah.
Physically or emotionally, I would, when I'm doing my other work, mentally, when I'm teaching or doing readings or regression work, I mean, I'm fine. I'm just perfectly into it. But then I'm exhausted afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trapped energy, and then especially if you're doing energy work on other people, and not all of your chi and your energy isn't flowing correctly, then you're getting some of their stuff build up. Sure. Like most of the stuff that was in my arm where I had to take off that time, and you know, if I didn't know about any of this, it was in so much pain. That's exactly what the doctors would have told me to do. Well, gotta get surgery.
Oh.
So, thank goodness we didn't. But I mean, I had my students or myself working on me like twice a day. I mean, I just had this huge knot that was all the way up into my wrist. And then once the wrist pain left, then the pain went to here, then the pain went to this side of the elbow, then this side of the elbow, then the arm, then the shoulder. Then finally, after I had cleared all of that out, it went into my back. And then the back was just like excruciating. So then I went to my friend Jenny. She's an amazing massage therapist. She's actually a Chinese medicine doctor. She just hasn't gotten her license here.
I love it.
So she does massage, and she's just so talented. And then she did the cupping on me.
Oh, wow.
And then finally I got that cupping massage, and that finally got rid of it. But people don't realize, like, you know, it's a dedication. I was working on myself 1, 2, 3 times a day for a few weeks straight to get that stuff out, you know? So if you're gonna wait, you're like, oh, I only want to come once a week, or I can only come once a month, then, you know, it's gonna take a long time. And in that meantime, you're gonna have more stuff building up. You know, you really got to just be dedicated to getting yourself healed so you can start moving on with your life faster. And you just got to do whatever it takes, you know? Otherwise, you know, and I've had so many clients that end up getting the surgery, and then that doesn't work, and then they end up doing all these cortisol shots until, you know, they can't do the cortisol shots anymore.
Oh, that really hurts, Ella. Can you take it off or lighten it? I don't know if you can, but... Yeah, that really was, it wasn't just uncomfortable, it was painful.
Yeah, we'll work on that next time.
Okay, thanks. Oh, it's better. Boy, that was really...
Yeah, we got a lot of toxins. Anywhere there's a curve in the body, so she was talking about, like, in the back, between, like, the arm and the torso there, that's where stuff gets stuck, especially, you know, if you've got boobs, the bigger your boobs are, you know, the more that's gonna cut off circulation here and here. That's why it's important. I always recommend my clients to wear bralettes. I actually had a chick, you know, she'd been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is like pretty much there's pain, but they don't know from what, right? And it was literally from her bra strap up is where she was feeling it. Well, when she went to she took off her bra, and her bra was like 5 times too small. So literally she just had stuff hanging over top. So all the toxins were stuck literally from here up. I mean, and you could just barely graze her like that, and it would put her into extreme pain. You know what I mean? I could barely even like work on her. I could just have her on under the frequency. And I told her, I was like, look, I think the problem here is like your bra is cutting off circulation, it's cutting off lymph flow, because underneath where that bra strap was, no pain. It was like, it was clear, like you could obviously see it with your eyes. I was like, first of all, you need to throw away all your bras and just I like to wear like tight compression. Like this is a bralette. You know, a lot of times I'll just wear a tight compression shirt or a tight compression like top, so it's not cutting off any circulation. Obviously, sometimes, you know, I still wear bras and stuff. We're wearing a bralette today. So I just know that if I am wearing that I need to do stuff like this more often to clear out those toxins.
Now, are you going to use fire with this? Did you say?
We already did.
You did?
Yeah.
I missed it. Oh, no. Well, you know.
Yeah, and I think this side is more, you're seeing more darkness on this side because this is the side we haven't worked on with the jade yet. Because I put that on this, you know, the same-ish area over here. It's not as dark, but obviously we haven't done much on that side.
Well, that side has been, I mean, it's becoming, my arms the last few weeks, this is probably for the last 4 or 5 weeks, my left side has been really hurting like it was damaged.
Well, it's the same, it's that like what the right side is because you broke it, you had all that stuff, right? But then once we release the pain from this one, you know, the other one will do so much, you know? Mine was messed up last year because it was on my right side and it was the side I do so much on. And there are pictures like on my Instagram you can see, I think I just posted it maybe a couple weeks ago from when I had my students do that. And you can look and see that my whole shoulder, my whole arm, Like the right one looks like twice the size of the left arm. But that's not fat, it's toxins. So a lot of people, you know, they try to get rid of fat or toxins like they're fat, it's not going to work, and they beat themselves up because they're not seeing the results that they want. So we got to treat fat like fat, we got to treat toxins like toxins. Most of the time, if there's extra mass, especially in women, in the arms or in the thighs, especially like around the hip area, you know, cellulite, that's a toxin stuck within our fascia tissue. And when there's so much toxin stuck in there, then that's going to affect our fascia and it's going to cause pain. So a lot of times people just live with it, they don't realize it. When I got really big for the first time, let me see if I have this. I would have clients tell me, and they're like, well, you don't have any cellulite. Well, I don't have cellulite because I do all of this. Like, I had cellulite for the first time when I was like 12.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not even fair. It was my first trip down to Florida. My friend that I'm going down there with was like varsity track, abs, super tight, you know what I mean? And I'm sitting next to her, like varsity track, like her freshman year of high school. And she was like, what is that? And she just poked, and I had a dimple. And I was freaking heartbroken. I'm like, what do you mean? I thought you had to be an adult to get cellulite. I'm not even 18 yet. I mean, I was probably like 13 or something. Oh my gosh, it was so heartbreaking. So ever since then, I've, you know, been committed to figuring out how to get rid of that. You know what I mean? Now that's been, you know, 25 years ago, and we've gotten really good at it. But at this time, I'd had my business for a while. I didn't have any cellulite. So, you know, my client was like, well, you don't know, you don't have cellulite. I was like, girl. I was like, you know what? I didn't have any really good before and after pictures of myself because I had never really gotten very big. Like, you know, I started off, I've always, you know, been an athlete. I had figured that kind of stuff out. So, still, even like with the flux, like nothing gets rid of it like this. Like I was still like when I was go-go dancing in Miami, I mean, I was like a size 00. I was just abs and booty. Abs and booty, that was it. But still, I never had a thigh gap. So with the flux, we're getting rid of the extra fluff in here, but also like what causes a thigh gap is also those toxins. They really like to follow the inner outside of the thighs, where those lymphatic pathways are, where stuff gets stuck. So yeah, let's see. So I actually did a little experiment where I gained a bunch of weight on purpose. And I know it's not, like this is not a bunch of weight to a lot of people, but it definitely was for me.
It was a lot for you because they've seen the pictures. I mean, oh my gosh.
So a couple years ago, I actually gained even more to the point where I looked pregnant, and then waited like another month and did videos of that. I got to put that video together here soon, but there are a lot of pictures on like my Instagram and stuff of that. So, I mean, it literally took me like 5 months to put on this weight. It was like lots of mac and cheese, lots of like Starbucks with the sugar. And I waited until I had enough cellulite to where I didn't feel comfortable going to get in the pool at the gym. You know, I really wanted to like feel a lot of what my clients are feeling, because that makes me a better sculptor. It makes me a better healer. Being able to be like, oh, okay, hey, I went to that side. And then now we're back. So, you know, we lit the way. I've been there, done that. Now we can do it blindfolded. Come with me. So this time I had more cellulite come back, and that last month it was very interesting because I started to get restless leg syndrome. It would be like ping, ping, like tiny little like stabs. And honestly, before that, I was like, dude, restless leg syndrome, like that's, you know, that's crazy, da-da-da-da. And every single time I would get where I got the restless leg syndrome, the little ping, pings, it was where a little dimple was coming in. Now, once I got rid of it, before I was just doing the flux, and this experiment, we did actually the skin tightening that gets rid of the cellulite, and we did like the vacuum cupping to really get to those like deeper levels of cellulite. And even when I gained weight a couple years ago to like look like I was pregnant, I did not get that cellulite back because we'd already treated the problems, like the pinches in the fascia suit, from like a deeper level. But yeah, so this was, yeah, it took me 5 months to get this big. And then that was after a 3-week boot camp was the after picture. So that was 3 weeks. And we did both the skin tightening on the cellulite scar tissue frequency and the flux. So I think that those pictures are more, I wish I was doing video at that time, but the video was not as good.
That was amazing what you lost doing that.
I know, like the videos that I did last time, I mean, I looked like pregnant. Like I have clients that didn't look that pregnant. So I really wanted to be authentic, and I lost 11 inches in a day. So that's to show people who, like, people are like, oh, well, why would you fly in to Indiana of all places? Well, I lost 11 inches just from my core in that day. So yeah, it's worth it. Then in that experiment, I continued eating whatever I want, not what we recommend, but this was for educational purposes to show you like exactly how it would work. And then waited till after Thanksgiving, because everybody eats a big meal at Thanksgiving. And I maybe gained back like 2 inches in that next like 3 weeks, even with obviously holiday season overindulging and stuff. And then went, fluxed it off that day, and I was already better looking than I was after that first session. So then after that, I did a 3-week boot camp, which is like what we would do if you're like local. The one interesting thing about that was like I've never had my belly, like it might have been bigger like in the pictures I just showed you, but I never had it hang over. And I mean, it was probably hanging over for like maybe a couple months. So not crazy long, but same thing. I have so much hard, it feels like a scar tissue, just like compounded fascia over the hips where that hung down, that I've had to do a lot more skin tightening on those areas to get it to go away. So hopefully we'll have time to do a little skin tightening on that today. On me, not her.
Well, my belly never hung over either till, I really think a lot of it was because I couldn't
move.
I couldn't move, I hurt. And that's when, and then of course I've known you for a long time, but when we decided to start working together, I'm like, oh my God, I just couldn't believe how my body looked. Because I've always been pretty slim, and it's just been, I've been up and down.
Yeah, you've always wore like the kind of more flowy hippie clothes though. Yeah. So it's easy for it to get away from us. Like when I gained weight for the brochure that I just showed you guys, my employees didn't know. I showed them the first picture and they're like, who's that? And I'm like, that's me. But I would wear leggings and I would wear like,
yeah.
I had like the little smock tops, you know what I mean? The, what do you call?
Right.
Like the nurse's tops that said Ella Bardo on it. So, and I kept stuff in my pockets. You really couldn't tell. But they're like, oh my gosh. I was like, I know.
The other thing was when I worked, in a totally different profession. I mean, it's still the same profession, but I always wore suits and jackets, and I wore structured slacks and all that. Well, I kept my weight down because I could always tell.
Oh yeah, like if it doesn't have stretch in it, you can tell right away.
So I would always know. So I kept my weight down for a long, most of my life, and then this has been just probably the longest period I've ever had that I haven't had. I wear structure sometimes, but even when working with you, I can get in some of my structure. Of course, jackets still fit, but the pants.
So we've been doing this on the blue frequency, which helps with pain, inflammation. Every frequency that we use, it's always going to be creating more collagen, increasing collagen by 22%, increasing elastin by 48%, doubling the length of the elastin fibers. And then the specific frequencies, that is the key to why we get so much better results than a regular microcurrent. I've had somebody, well, this microcurrent, like it doesn't matter. If it's not frequency specific microcurrent, you're not going to get these results. It's not going to regrow hair. We're not going to be able to get rid of those like deep toxins, because it's the specific frequency along with the microcurrent that is making all the difference. So I get that question a lot. I just spoke at the this esthetician panel. We actually did those live. So if you want to go back and watch, there's like 3 of them. A lot of great information, not just from me, but from 6 other amazing, successful estheticians and educators. Okay, we just had to add the power back.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go look at those. I knew you were doing it, but.
So now we're gonna switch the frequency to orange, which is for cellulite, pathological calcification. So a lot of times, I even heard like Dr. Berg, which he's I think an osteopath, a DO. He's on YouTube. I love a lot of his stuff, but he made a video. He was like, oh, you only get cellulite in the butt and legs. And I'm like, huh? What? Who? Mr. Sir, you're wrong. Respectfully, you're wrong. I do love a lot of their content. Definitely worth following that one. I did save that video to do like a reaction thing, to be like the truth of it. Okay, this is a guy, he's rather slim, probably never experienced cellulite for himself, so if you want to take it from an expert who not only has had it, gained it back on purpose, got rid of it just to show you guys, but I get rid of people's cellulite all day. And it's on the list. It's on the list to do a reaction video because I think that would be good. Thank you, me. All right, so now we're going to switch it to orange for pathological calcification. Now, after cupping, you're typically not supposed to take a shower. Well, you're not supposed to take a shower at all for 24 hours. You can, however, and it will be beneficial, take like a salt bath. I like to take a salt bath with baking soda, especially if you can get salts with magnesium, because then everything is open and ready to receive and detox a little more. And I think that's important to do. I've had cupping before quite a few times where I've gotten a detox reaction. And it's something that I've asked for. You know, I didn't ask for that specifically, but Jenny, who I go to, I'm like, harder, do it more, pull more stuff out. And sometimes that can, you know, overwhelm our liver and kidneys. That's why we'll get like a detox reaction. So I find that doing the salt bath afterwards can help pull out those toxins from another angle. Another really good thing to do after that is the ionic foot spa is great to do. Anything where we can pull toxins out of the body in a way where it's, you know, bypassing our liver and kidneys. So we're taking some stress off of there.
Oh.
Getting that little bra fat.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how much that bra fat can impede movement as well. We just think
sorry, I have to breathe here.
It's okay.
I have to breathe because it's uncomfortable.
Ah!
Oh.
Yeah, they definitely were darker over here. One of the cups we couldn't even put on there, but this is the side we haven't worked on at all, so that makes sense. It's weird, the ones right here are light, but here, ooh, that one immediately was like, nope.
Well, that's where I've been hurting lately, and I'm sure it's because I've been using my left side so intensely.
Absolutely, yeah.
And even lately, I mean, I just have been even using it even more, and I don't even unload the dishwasher because it's painful to reach over, and I have to unload it with my left arm, so. And I have weird angles, and
Yeah, I have a lot of people, and people who, you know, especially need to lose more weight, like my people who need to lose, you know, if it's like over 50 pounds or something like that, sometimes they don't realize how they got that way was being in pain and they couldn't move. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then they're just like, well, just go move your body.
What?
Like, people just sound so ignorant when they say that. It's not that easy. Obviously, we want people to move their body, but if it's causing pain, then how are they going to move it?
Exactly.
Like, you can't even move it correctly. You can do, you know, I've been a fitness person, you know, since I was 12, you know what I mean? Since pretty much puberty, I super got into fitness and different types of things.
Can you lighten it?
And,
sorry.
One thing when I have athletes come in here again, you know, maybe they used to be an athlete, then they gained 50 pounds, they gained 40 pounds or whatever, and then they think that they can just go back to, like, lifting how they did. And then, boom, now you have a ganglion cyst. Like, it doesn't matter if you are a trainer, if you are, you know what I mean? You really, if you haven't been active for a while, you really need to, like, book a few sessions with a personal trainer so they can watch how you're moving. Because a lot of times you're moving in a way that's compensating for something. If you're just training without knowing how to train it back to balance, you need another set of educated eyes on that. Then you can just be training yourself to look more like Quasimodo. Now we're just still training in the wrong direction, but with weights. You know, so it's really important. You know, I have lots of videos on here with different Pilates specialists, with, you know, personal trainers who lift and do shows. And, you know, being able to move is an important part of longevity, you know?
Well, you know, I gained probably around 15 pounds over the past year from laying around because of the pain.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I do what I have to do, but how that hurts. Oh.
I know. I just want to get this a little bit.
I know, you just want to get it out.
Now we're going really light on here, so there's a lot of buildup in there.
Yes,
Yeah,
come pay Ella lots of money so she can exert pain onto your body.
it's acute pain now for to get rid of the chronic pain.
Ah! I love cupping though. Oh my God. I've had it done before massage therapists did it, but not for a while. I remember the first time I did it. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's life-changing.
It is, and gosh, well, I did get gua sha too.
The girl who taught me cupping first, she was actually the massage therapist for LeBron James. So I had bought my vacuum cupping machine. We learned that together, and then she was teaching me the principles. Like, she would use the cupping with the pump.
Oh, neat.
So I did use those for a while, but then at my last spa location, I had one of my employees, and she'd been a massage therapist maybe a couple more years than I had been an esthetician. And she went through like chemo before. And even though it was like 8 years before, you have to be mindful about how long you keep these cups on. So they only kept them on for 7 minutes. When they took them off, there was blisters in the cupping thing. And, you know, when I asked my Chinese medicine doctor friend, like, what this is about, you know, that can happen when you're doing chemo. But that way, or if you have done it before, it's still pulling that stuff out of your body, which is wild that was 8 years ago. But, I mean, you can only do it for, like, a few minutes. So, you know, back when I had employees, there was, like, a lot of cool things that I did that I just took off the menu because I didn't want to be responsible for teaching these people or be responsible if they're doing something wrong. Like, we never used the Tesla wand, never had the high frequency, still got amazing results. You know, it doesn't matter how we get there. If you look at here's where we started, this is the result. Was it worth the money? It was an absolute steal. So, but yeah, I was excited to learn the fire cupping because the fire cupping really works with your own body. So you can't overdo it like you could with the pump. With the pump, you're like forcing it. You know what I mean? Anytime I've gotten a detox reaction, it has been with the pump. Now, have I told Jenny to do it more, to do it harder? Absolutely. So it was still kind of my responsibility over hers. But, you know, whatever that toxin was, I wanted it out. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, I can be more of an extreme person like that. Not that it's a recommendation. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. So let's see. So we're going to hook her up to the flux now. And then we're just going to wrap up your neck on like a tightening lymphatic thing. So I'm going to have you lay down on top of it. And the rest of it will just be like relaxing, tightening, let the frequency do the work while your body gets worked out.
Yes, ma'am.
Does that sound good? Okay.
That's awesome.
Yay.
Can I turn over?
Yeah, hop up real quick. I was like,
no,
I
I can't move now. Oh my God. See?
I can see your arm moving better.
If I had to swim to save myself, I couldn't do it.
I'm not a swimmer. Yeah, I'm not a swimmer either.
You know, because of my right arm. I mean, I could always swim to save myself, provided it's pretty calm waters. But you know, if I had to use my right arm now, I thought about that the other day. I can't do it.
Okay, so hop up for a minute. I'm gonna have to
up,
switch sides. Yeah.
All right, you want me?
I gotta put your straps down.
You're killing me.
Yeah, when you go home, it would be good to just not wear a bra if you can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you want to just let all of that flow.
Right. I should have wore a t-shirt or something. I was trying to be a little.
You know what I like is for stuff like this, I get the compression shirts that are like a size or two small. Like usually I'll get a size 12 in little boys from Under Armour. So it's just tight and it holds everything. So it's tight enough to just hold everything here.
Wow.
Yeah, that works amazing. I've got some of those. I think I've probably had them for like 12 years or something.
So they're compression?
Yeah, it's just like an Under Armour shirt, but I just get it a couple sizes smaller so it holds the tits down.
Wow.
And it just holds everything and it lets everything breathe at the same time.
Oh. Well.
Check it out. Check out your movement.
Wow. See, and it hurts all in here.
Yeah.
Well, it did before. I mean, it's been that way for a year.
Yeah.
So why does it go all the way down there? Even when I fell, I broke the collarbone.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so the toxins, it could start here and then it just layers up. Like you're layering from, like you're filling up a hoarder's house and you start from the back and then you work your way to the front. Because when my wrist hurt, the wrist really wasn't the problem. It was like the most of that shit was in my shoulder and my arm. But it filled all the way up so much to where the pain was here. Then I did this to here. Then the next day the pain was here. Then I did it again. And I mean, I was doing the whole arm all the way up the same way when we followed you. that way. It was just lighter here. But that's where like the pain was. Then it moved to here, here, here. And then like the final boss, it was like all that stuff had moved out of my arm. My arm felt amazing.
Wow.
But my back, especially on this side of the spine,
Yeah.
was on fire. Like literally couldn't work, so much pain. And that's when I went to Jenny and did the cupping. And going back, hopefully I don't have to. I just need to like keep up. Like I need to book an appointment with Jenny. I'm so overdue. At least I have had my students working on me though. So it's not just like me giving out all the energy and sucking up people's toxins for no reason. Okay, we need one more long one.
Well, yeah, it's that's why I could, even when I broke it down here, I could only move my arm up to here.
How's it moving now? That's better.
I mean, I can do it. It still hurts. It hurts. Well,
Now where does it hurt?
all through here. I mean, it's stiff.
Does it
Stiff.
hurt in
It
there?
doesn't hurt so much as it's stiff.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to have the pain, but they're both stiff. And used to, I mean, I could, well, now I can't do it, but even before we started working on it, I could pull my arm, my finger all the way up here. So because it's healing now, it's like all that junk in there. It's not, see, I'm itching too.
That's
a good
good.
sign.
That's good.
Jim, when he did the bowls on
Oh, we're
my-
doing your arms. What am I thinking? What were you saying when he did your arm? He did the bowls on you last time?
He did, when he did the bowls, I could feel stuff coming out of me. Like, it was kind of like
I could feel
itching
like
and twinging.
I could feel like in the jaw where it was just like you
Yes.
could feel the
With
frequency.
the bowls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting energized every week. Which way? Do I lay down now?
Yeah, lay down on your back.
Oh, my head here?
Yes.
You know, I'm confused. Oh, my left, right, oh, my little. But yeah, I can't move my,
Okay, so now bridge.
I could do it. I could do it before, but now that we're working on it, it's I can't move it. I mean, it's gotta get out of there.
Get out of there. Gremlins.
See, even now, because I've been so weak that I couldn't even lift my butt up before.
Oh no, yeah.
Because it
That's
was
one
so,
of the things that I'll check, especially if they have a hard time getting off the table.
yeah.
I'm always like, okay, let's take a moment to remember the level of difficulty it was to push yourself off the table. Because that's one of the things that's not aesthetic that is always very exciting for me. It's like sometimes, it'll just be, one time I would have to help them get up, I'd have to help them get up. And one day they just pop up all by themselves. And I'm like, look, you just did that by yourself. And you don't even realize it, but that's like to me, that progress is almost more important than the aesthetic progress.
Well, it is.
Because when you can move on your own, then you can get other results on your own from working out,
I remember when I had my massage therapist, I've got a couple of them, but it's when she worked on me, I mean, I couldn't get off the table. She had to pull me up so I could get off. I remember the day when I said, I can do it by myself now.
Isn't that exciting? It's like, I've broken so many bones. I remember like the last time I broke my foot, not the toe. The toe wasn't bad, but the last time I broke my foot, oh my gosh, there's just so many things you take for granted. You know what I mean?
My God, your foot, you must have really done a lot of healing extra on that one.
I've had to do a lot. I mean, like I think I told you, I spent a good year and a half not even working on my face so much, just focusing on getting all the scar tissue out of my joints.
My God.
And, that makes them slimmer. It makes them more tight and sculpted. Why do I keep putting it on your legs?
I don't know.
We've just done the legs so many times.
We're not doing the legs.
No, we're doing arm.
Fix me.
We're fixing you.
I mean, whenever I go start doing a lot of, I've always done a lot of body work, but whenever I'm going, fix me, I mean, really in bad shape.
Right.
I've always been a preventer. I've been doing prevention work as long as I can remember. Since I was like 9 or 10, I was started doing stuff, but always doing something. But my gosh, now I'm like, I can't, when you can't move, you can't think.
What can you do? Yeah, you can't think. That's the other thing, too.
Your whole body is just out of whack. Yeah, I'm itching. That's a good thing. Very good. And those bowls, I could feel pinging come out, energy shooting up out of my body.
Yeah, I could really tell a difference with those bowls. And I mean, I fell in love with the bowls the first time. I told you my friend taught me the crystal bowls. And I was literally like levitating. Like, he was like, oh my God, did you just levitate? I was like, I think I did. We've never been able to do it since.
I love that.
But that's when I had like the foot in the water, in the salt water in the bowl. And it was like the right size. And I was just like, and then I fell down. I was like, okay, now you got to teach me this.
Oh my God.
I bet he hasn't had anybody do that like since, but
oh wow.
I would like to do it again. It was fun. But it was like as soon as I thought that I was levitating, that's when I fell down.
Yeah.
And then he was like, bro, you were just levitating. I was like, I was. That was so crazy. But I can feel a difference between his metal bowls and other metal bowls too.
Really? What do you think the difference is?
I think definitely there's something to like the, vegan priests hammering out in the moonlight while they're chanting and all that stuff.
Yeah,
I definitely feel like there's a lot more intention that has went into creating those healing devices versus the crystal ones that I get off of Amazon.
That's funny. I like the way you described that. Those vegan priests.
Right? Hammering it out in the moonlight, chanting. Yeah, something about that I think charged those babies up.
Yeah, Jim, he gets into that stuff.
Thank you, darling. Now, did he go to Nepal to learn that? Where exactly did he go?
Oh, Jim, to train with that?
Yeah.
Well, it's this group. Anyhow, he went to Colorado, but they travel all over. They travel.
Okay.
And
he has so much knowledge on it. You could tell he went to he took it seriously, as if it was a continuing education for medical stuff. Yeah.
And his brain works that way anyhow. But yeah, he went to Colorado, and then another time he did a follow up with another group. It was. And they were in Atlanta, so they go all over. I mean, they go over the world training.
That is cool. Oh, that's cool.
It's world class.
And is it monks that actually teach it?
No, this guy's just a regular. He's well, I guess the funny thing is he worked for. Oh, I know. He'd been a regional manager making buku money for the Cheesecake Factory.
Oh, okay.
I think he was in.
Interesting.
I know it. I
That's
think he was in
switch.
London at the time. I don't know where he is actually from. I'm thinking the United States. I'm not sure, but
so he's got to be good with people if you're doing all that.
Well, yeah, he made so much money, but his body was killing it.
Yeah, that's a lot of energy. Gosh.
Because he was always running around, and anyhow, he ended up he went into this. I guess he'd always been interested in it, but he started training and doing all this stuff, and so that's how Jim learned, and now we're taking a class together. I hope that works. I mean, we're not going somewhere. We're doing it online. It's the middle of the month. It's mainly for me, in my case, to get it all together. And
the social media, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get my website
actually
on there. I know what's on it. I have it all in my head. I have it in papers everywhere. But see, the thing is, I've not been like, oh, I got to do this, because I'm busy.
Right.
Word of mouth. I'm already busy.
Right, exactly.
I would really like to do more online, my regression work. So I know how I'm going to do it, and I've done some. But it's really funny. It's like I can't let Jim get ahead of me, because he doesn't know. He doesn't hardly know. I know more than he does, but I've been at it long. I mean, just because I worked in a different field. But it was really funny. So. Anyhow, he's going to start launching his stuff, so we'll probably be around another 30 or 40 years,
Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool to see, because I have so many friends who do all online.
Oh, you do? That's cool.
Online, whether it's tarot or past life regression or quantum energy healing.
Yeah.
Honestly, and if it wasn't for the lockdown.
Yeah.
I don't really think I would play with that so much, because I'm just such a hands-on, integrated type of person.
Yeah.
But, when everything locked down, you can't have the spa open, I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? Well, we have been a Reiki master for a couple years. We can do tarot cards. So that's kind of when I came out of the closet with the tarot cards. Otherwise, it was keeping it quiet. Well, you had the same thing with your...
I have the same thing.
With because of your profession. I was like, what I do is already so out of the box compared to normal things. You know what I mean? I wanted to have my business, the spa business, open for 5 years before I even started to. So then I slowly started to advertise like chakra aligning with the tuning forks and that kind of stuff. But then I was like, well, why not? What else can I do?
I agree. And the reason during the COVID, I was teaching online for colleges yet. So everybody was calling me to teach. So I was really busy during COVID.
Oh, really?
But I was teaching online. That's when it was funny. Universities, colleges who couldn't do all that decided they couldn't do all that online before. All of a sudden could.
Magic how that works.
It was really interesting. It's all over the board. We're not doing that. We're limiting it now. It's primary. So I do all my classes online now. But and plus I liked it. I'm like you. I like hands-on. I did regressions yesterday for some people, and I like doing it. I mean, nothing bad's going to happen, but it's still, I like that personal. Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
6 inches away, talking, but I know.
Well, you can really feel, people have an energy field, so you can, feel it when you're there. But now doing the work with the quantum healing and the distance Reiki and stuff, I can still now I'm plugged in to where I can feel that energy anywhere.
Yeah,
And I think I've always been like that. You know, if you're born psychic, you're born psychic. Now I can navigate it and drive it. It's like owning a car. Yes, I have one, but can I legally drive it, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, do I have the skills? Like, I remember being at the hospital for my dad one time, and my friend calls. We were just chatting. She was living in California, and we were super, super close. Like, when she was here, I helped her, like, move into her place in California, and we start talking. I'm like, she'd literally just gotten married, and her husband had adopted her daughter. And the daughter still has a good relationship with her dad, which the husband was, like, a better protector, provider. You know, he was more of a, you know, doing the actions of being a father, right? So, I was like, so when's the baby coming?
Oh.
I was like, you already have a girl.
Oh.
I was like, you gonna have a boy next? And she's like, oh no, I mean, we just got married. He just adopted Ella, and da-da-da-da-da. Well, she found out 3 months later that she was 3 months pregnant.
Oh my God.
So I knew from the other side of the country in California that she was pregnant before. And I can't tell you how many times that had happened. Now looking back at knowing what I know, that was a type of like quantum energy healing. You know what I mean? Like
premonition, big time.
So
I love that.
It's just interesting. And then I did a lot of Reiki. I had 2 different dogs that were like on death's door. The vet was like, let's put them down. That are still alive to this day. I wish I could have done the same with Coco, but you know. And I had my one friend, he had a kidney. Like it was my friend's brother who's in Mexico. And he had something wrong with his kidney. They thought they were going to be on dialysis. He's had like drug problems for years and stuff. And he's like, hey, can you just send some Reiki healing to my brother? Because, you know, usually once they're on dialysis, it's not, you know, you're not coming back off of that. So I was just doing some Reiki, you know, what's his name? I had never even met this brother. I had met a lot of the other family. And I was like, is it his left kidney? And like, I don't know, you know, I'm getting some other instructions with how to move some stuff. And I sent the energy. He was like, I'll ask him tomorrow. He's like asleep at the hospital right now. They're like, it is the left kidney. And then all of a sudden, like, somehow whatever, I don't know what they used to like rate that stuff, but whatever his charts went down, and that's been 5 years ago. He's still not on dialysis.
Wow, I love it. Oh.
Now he's got to do the other part, like stop drinking, stop doing things to kill the freaking kidney. Put your legs, or you can keep your legs up actually.
I can do what?
If it's more comfortable to keep your legs up, you can keep your legs up for this.
Good. Yeah, it's more comfortable right now for some reason. Oh.
So we are doing the Flux Red body sculpting. We are snatching up her arms. We just did a scar reduction, cellulite reduction, skin tightening on her arm. Thank you, Kylie, for the 100th like. And mostly her back, her neck, the top, the shoulders. And then now we're going to flux that stuff away. Oh. We did her arm last week, so it's still a little bruised. But so much tighter. Like the skin texture on this on the side that we did is like the snapback is better, the elasticity is better, it's softer. You can tell the other one is a little more rough. You can tell that there's still toxins in the other side. Okay, so what she did today, we did an hour of the jade sculpting. So whether we do that on the face or the body, that's $4.99 a session. And then today, usually she does do an hour on the flux. The flux is $2.99 for a half-hour session. But since she was already itching a little bit, you know, sometimes, you know, she might only be able to do a half hour of the flux today if you start to get itchy.
Okay.
But we're at least going to get through a half hour.
You tell me when, because I don't have a clock on.
I love you so much. Thank you, Emma.
Yeah, I can really feel it's getting in there. Oh, my God.
Is it too much?
No, it's all right. I'm going to suffer through this one. It's not that. It's bad. I mean, it's
intense.
I can feel it, but it's not terrible.
In the arms or the core or what?
Arms.
Can we go up on the core?
Yeah. You can go up on the core, but yeah, I'm really swollen today. This weekend... She's a party animal. No, I really wasn't. But 2 days in a row, I ate a small bag of salted. I hardly ever eat junk food, but it was laying there, and it was, you know, it was like I was at Inner Path, and it was some that were, you know, it was like 2 days old, 2 days older than
They
it.
need to sell healthy. There's so many people who do like,
I know it.
like I mean, when I was at the esthetician thing this weekend, this girl had these like little juices. It was like a lavender lemonade with like pea snaps. It would be so perfect for in there. And then she did a bunch of like just like the little chia peanut butter balls or whatever.
Yummy.
Yeah, just like little healthy stuff like that.
Well, people buy that junk food because it's there. So I was laying there, and it wasn't like I did go buy it. So I just ate it.
Right. Yeah.
So it was good, but sometimes I don't eat enough salt, so I crave it sometimes. But I am swollen.
Yeah, when I do I do the electricity stuff on me all the time. I had somebody test my enzymes and my salts levels, and that's why we always tell people you got to get your electrolytes after this, especially like potassium. You got to get the sodium. A lot of people are overdosed on sodium if they do eat junk food, but if you don't, like I was actually low in sodium. So my potassium levels were fine, but I was actually low in sodium. So a lot of times if I've done this much electricity work on myself, then I will, like, this is not like 1,000% healthy, but I was like, something about the Campbell's chicken soup. Like, there's a reason like why they gave that to us to get better when we're sick. There's something magical about it. I know there's like heavy metals in the cans and stuff, but so either way, something's still magical about that. So I take
there is.
I take either the one with the noodles or even better, the chicken with stars, and then I do like a can and a little over a half a can of water. And then there's a chicken bone broth collagen that I add to it. And I've been doing a bean bone broth collagen powder that has like 10 grams of protein in it as well. And then mix that all up. So it's like tons of collagen, tons of protein, and, extra salty. I just read something weird about the Himalayan salt though.
Really? What about
And I
it?
love the Himalayan salt because it's pink.
Yeah.
But I've made a lot of bad choices in my life because it was pink. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Of course. Jim's got it. Jim has it at his house. He gave
yeah.
me
I mean,
some.
so
I got to
then,
rub out.
so okay, this is gonna get kind of out there. This is gonna be kind of conspiracy theorist, right?
What?
What? But then so then I read they're like, when the Titans, when they came down and struck all the Titans down, right? There's all like the giants.
Right.
That the veins of the Himalayan salt are actually like their blood that dried up. That's why there's more iron in it.
Oh my God.
But I'm usually like iron deficient anyway. I think a lot of women are because like we bleed once a month.
Right.
So, but somebody was like, don't eat it. It's full of heavy metals.
Oh no.
I was like, I don't know about that. That's an interesting theory. But also, I mean,
It is
I bought this washer and dryer just because it was pink.
Oh.
And it matched literally. It was like the same pink as and it's supposed to be for like an Airbnb. Like, I don't know why I thought I could do like commercial level of laundry that I do here every day. And it was like a washer dryer in one. And oh my gosh, it was a nightmare. Literally a nightmare. And it was so freaking heavy. I don't know why it was so heavy.
That feels good. Oh.
It's like tucking in a baby.
Ugh.
All right, so now we're gonna put this on the frequency that's gonna help with lymph stasis. So that is like when the lymph is stuck, when there's toxins stuck in it. And it's also the one for the throat chakra. So anytime we have injuries energetically, you know what I mean? That's usually, there's a blockage in that chakra system as well. So I know that I did a lot of work on my arms and that. Now I feel like it can move, like the heart chakra is pumping good. But I feel like now it's like these three chakras, like my throat chakra, my third eye, like this feels kind of like a robot where everything should be like easy moving.
I have to move my arms and get them situated because every time it vibrates, my arms and my hands move off the table.
I like to sit on them.
That's what I'm doing. I didn't know if I could do that or not, but I'm sitting on my left butt, so that's helping.
I like to sit on them because then they can just flap.
Oh.
Usually this is why we never do arms on the first session for people because it can be kind of like weird and restrictive. I like the results of having the arms done, but I don't always like doing it because I like to like play on my phone, edit stuff, multitask. unless like, you know, if somebody's trying to fit into a dress for something, or somebody's like they're in a lot of pain, caused by excess mass, excess toxins and stuff like that. It's usually if I've done the arms on the first session, it's always been like they're trying to fit into a wedding dress or some kind of dress. And then I'll let them know. I'm like, hey, this is going to be really weird. But do you want your arms to be skinny or not? If you want your arms to be skinny and we can focus on that, then we can do this. But like, put on a podcast, suck it up. It's always worth it, just not necessarily fun. Usually if you start with like the glutes or the quads, yes, it's going to be intense, but at least you can distract your brain by like playing on your phone or something. Okay, Jane, are you going to tell them a story? I got to go check on Miss Brandy.
I don't have any stories in my bent mind today. Let me think. Oh, I'll tell them about the first time my baby dog went to the chiropractor.
Aww.
On her energy work, her first energy work session. Little Betsy. There's a man in town, he does network chiropractic. I haven't been to him in years, but I used to go many years ago, and it's all energy based, and not just all the chiropractic is, you know, releasing energy, but with that, you had a number of people laying in the room at the same time, and he studied with a man in Colorado. I can't think of his name, but anyhow, so I remember taking my baby dog Betsy. She was getting up there in age, an elder, and they had a family plan with my chiropractor, and it was, what I did was I took Betsy in, and Jean came out and did chiropractic on Betsy. First she nabbed at him like that, and Betsy didn't, of course, like somebody working on her like that. But finally, when he was able to, it's like this dog who was getting up in years. She lived to be about 20, and I know a lot of it's because of all the alternative work I was doing with their alternative vet, and which I'll tell you about in a minute. But anyhow, so Betsy was like jumping off the side of the bank in my house because of all her chiropractic work, and I go get her adjusted once a week then.
Aww.
So she was like a new puppy, and thought she was a puppy.
Cute. I feel like Lucky needs that with his back legs because he was like starving when they found him.
Oh wow.
And his legs are just like very like underdeveloped. I feel like he knows how to use them. He's strong. He's like almost 70 pounds now.
Wow.
But he just, you know, he's just a little puppy. He's like, get me on the bed.
But Jean would work on him because I was a patient or client or whatever. And so then he would work on Betsy, and I would take Betsy home. But she was jumping all around, had more energy than she had in 2 or 3 years, and had perky puppy eyes again. And
I'm obsessed with watching Animal Chiropractor on Instagram.
Oh wow, cool. But sure helped her. Then I taken her to a vet who just passed away. But
Aww.
he was a vet. He did acupressure, acupuncture, and oils. Just really helped her. So that's great energy stories. You know, the things we do to ourselves, you can also do with animals and babies. I mean, babies, you know, of course, they have a rough road through the birth canal, and a lot of chiropractors will work on babies and open up the energy pathways that have been blocked coming out. I mean, think about it. You as a baby, how traumatic that is, working your way out of your mother's body, and contractions and movement. And so, yeah, I've seen babies just totally relax in front of my eyes and fall asleep with, you know, gentle chiropractic work. So I remember I was born cesarean, so, you know, of course I didn't have that movement, so who knows. But my mother, I'm sure, experienced the trauma. I guess I did too, because anybody coming in to get me, very invasive, but that's the only way they could get me out. So yeah, babies, children, open up all those babies, children, pets. Just energy shifting to get that energy flowing. You know, Jean Palmer Institute, Iowa. That's #1 chiropractic. You know, I remember I dated a long time ago who'd gone to Palmer. I just was like in 7th heaven. I got to wear his Palmer sweatshirts around. I thinking I was so important. It was pretty funny. But anyhow, there's very, very good, excellent chiropractic schools around our nation, and particularly the Midwest, interestingly enough. I don't know what Ella's doing. She must have somebody else in there, but well, yeah, it's starting to feel really good.
Yay!
Yeah, we talked about my baby chiropractor doggy and babies and children's and chiropractic schools.
What's she made of?
What Betsy?
What's she made of? That's such a weird question. Blood.
Oh,
blood and
my
bones.
My baby dog.
Your baby dog.
Yeah, just I talked about children
kind is
and
she?
babies responding. I don't have a baby.
No, what kind of dog?
Oh, but well, she's passed now. But she was a part Pomeranian, part Mutt. She was like 10 to 12 pounds.
A little fluff.
She was a fluff. She had this big Pomeranian tail and a little, almost like poodle face. And she was breen, kind of brown, black, kind of.
Like a brindleish.
Something like. She was beautiful. She was like a wild one.
So cute.
She'd come and people would walk in the house. She'd leap at him, and she thought she was a big dog like yours.
I know. I don't think he's little. We took him to the it's like what is it called? It's like a dog bar.
Oh yeah.
So it's like a dog park that's in Westfield, but then they also have like a little cantina you can buy Mexican food at. You can get like beer, you can get drinks. I was driving with the dog, so obviously I wasn't drinking, but even their mocktails that they had, I hate mocktails that have like some kind of fake alcohol in it. Like it's like a fake tequila. Like that tastes like shit. You know what I mean? It's like the only reason I drink it is because it also made me feel some kind of way.
Oh, that's funny.
I don't want to just taste it to taste it. So they've got mocktails that are more like elixirs and stuff.
I see.
So they had like the one that I got was like grapefruit juice and Sprite and mint, like had fresh mint in it. It was very, very cutesy, very refreshing. So we took them there Memorial Day weekend. They had a foam party. It was so cute. I gotta post some videos here. I forget. A lot of that stuff I'll post on Instagram. So you gotta make sure you're following me on Instagram too. Ella Bardo 1111. But oh my gosh, it was so fun. But Lucky was so scared. He was just shaking. I like had to pick him up and put him in the foam.
Oh my gosh.
And then he found like an emotional support child. This cute little girl just kept coming and petting him and like and then putting the foam on him. So it's good to know he's really good with babies and like small animals.
Oh wow.
It's usually certain men he doesn't like.
Funny.
What do we make? We make all kinds of things. What do you mean? Give me a category. Oh, you're cooking? What are you cooking, Clay? Something delicious, I hope. Oh my gosh, I ordered DoorDash like 3 times yesterday.
Wow.
I was like letting myself rest because we've had so many peopling days recently, like where I'm speaking or I'm singing, and that stuff can like really kind of like drain me. Like I love it. When I got done speaking on Sunday, I was like so energized. I was like, okay, I gotta go out and people while the peopling energy is good. You know what I mean? Which was awesome. I ran into some old friends. It was a great choice. Took Mr. Lou on a little, you know, mother-son date, just the 2 of us, my old man dog. And, but yeah, because if I don't ride that wave while it's there, either way, the next day I'm going to be exhausted and not want to people. Does that make sense? Do you ever get that when like you're doing readings and you're like, oh yeah, I still have energy. Either way, by the time I go to sleep and wake up, I'm not going to want to talk to anybody or look at the phone or anything. So I might as well write it while it's there and I have the energy.
That's why I hole up in my house for a day.
That's what I did yesterday. Like literally, like I was like, I had to talk myself into like ordering DoorDash. I was like, I'm just not looking at the phone. People are going to want things from me. But then I'll spend like half the day like guilty about it. Like I should be doing things. It's a nice day. I made myself go outside in the yard a couple times, but then I was like, no, back to the cave of solitude. I can't do it. I can feel people's energy outside.
You know, it's funny because Jim, first thing he does in the morning is he gets out and I'm sitting there in the dark with all the blinds shut, talking to his bird. Polo and I like to go out and have our morning...
Have a conversation.
Morning moments together. Well, then by the time Jim gets up, what are you sitting in the dark for? I mean, it's as long as I've been with him, which is several years, it's still the same. So, you know, he turns on all the lights and blinds. But almost all my girlfriends and friends who do any kind of people work, first thing they do in the morning is grab their cup of coffee and sit and look at the wall.
Just outside, just watch the birds. I like to watch the birds.
Yeah, we don't go out. We just maybe go out once or twice. We hole up. A friend I worked on last week, I was actually in Kokomo doing a gig, and she, we did a whole lot of healing work with her. Oh my God, yeah, you'd love it. I'll tell you sometime. But anyhow, she, first thing she does, her house is dark, just like mine. I live in a very vintage, 100-and-some-year-old house, of course, and then hers is probably 50, 60 years old. But the same thing is, we like our dark.
There is something about the light too, yeah, because I have these curtains that are like, I have blackout curtains that are like, they have the stars punched in them, like holes. Oh, yeah. So it'll just let in like hints of light.
Oh.
But even this morning, like I didn't really have to be peopling until like, I don't know, like 9 o'clock, 9:30. So I'll just try to be like, you know, disconnected until then. And the lights, you know, the sun came in at like 7. I was up at 7, but I'm like, no sun, only puppy cuddles until 8:30 at least.
Love it. Well, I've got blackout curtains in my bedroom, so I never know what it is out there.
That's why I like the little stars, because it'll just be a hint of sun. I know if I can tell if it's daylight or night, but I don't have to be committed to like being in the light. Yeah, I don't know what that is. It's like, the sun is too much. Also, I do feel like when like the majority of the humans and stuff are out and about and like their frequencies are like in that ethers, like sometimes that is also too people-y. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, like I had to go bring some money to my dog watcher, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna come by after dark or close to dark.
Are you a vampire?
Yeah, I'm also a vampire.
I thought you were.
I'm a daywalker. Daywalker vampire. My mom is like white as these walls.
She is.
And my youngest sister, yeah. My dad, he was it's like French and Black Irish or whatever. I think of what it's called.
Cool.
So, and it's like Romanian or whatever. More like Eastern European, whatever. My dad could go outside and sit in the sun for like 5 minutes and look Hispanic.
Wow.
So I don't really like burn, or if I do, it'll be like a tan the next day.
Oh, wow.
But I don't get as dark as him.
So he's Black Irish, your dad?
It doesn't mean they're black. That's what they call when they have like the black curly hair.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So there's like Moorish in the blood.
Oh,
yeah, whenever the Moors came and invaded that land, it's from that side of things.
You must have been very handsome. Woo!
Yeah, he had dark, like black curly. Actually, when I was born, I had black curly hair.
Oh my gosh.
Like, they thought it was 1987. So in that era, a lot of people had pet monkeys. It was a popular thing. And, you know, my mom would just be holding it as a baby. My mom has like my color hair. It's like, you know, blondish. So they'd walk up to her and be like, oh, you have a baby monkey. Like, you know, my nickname when I was younger was Monkey because they thought I was a monkey. But somehow all the black hair fell out. I definitely looked like my dad's child when I came out, more than any of my brothers and sisters. Yeah, by the time I was like 18 months, it turned this color. But it was black. It would have been cool with the black hair and blue eyes at the very Betty Page. But I don't know, isn't it weird how like eyes and hair can like change color over the years and stuff? My hair gets lighter in the sun. So that's why I haven't really been wearing hats as much lately. We gotta get the winter roots goldened. And usually I'm in Miami every other month. I think this year that's going to be a goal, like during winter, is to be in Miami 1 week out of every month. Not a full-time girl. Plus I just miss my baby dogs. I miss them. I still have my storage down there. At the time, I was going like every month or every other month, so it made sense. But now I haven't been back in over a year, so I'm like, ugh. Should I just go get everything out of it? Then I feel like as soon as I get everything out of it, I'm going to need another storage. It's just like... But now Lucky has a sitter, Miss Levi, his auntie Levi. She's so amazing. She just started her own business, very proud of her, called The Dog Guru. She definitely is. Like, he's the only one, like, she's the only one who can watch him. And she teaches him other stuff, too. So she's a dog trainer. Oh, how cool. And she's a dog sitter.
Wow.
And she's literally, like... 5 minutes away from the spa. So that's fabulous.
That's great.
And she has a blue healer. And that dog is like a dog trainer too. Like her dog is like a dog trainer. He's so good. Like he will come in for like a certain things. Like I call him out of the backyard. He loves being in the backyard. And I can be like, who wants a chicken? And he'll come in for that. Or steak bites. He'll come in for steak. Sometimes for cheese. But any of the food things, I still have to, like, we'll say it more than once. Or, like, shake the bag. Like, come get it. But if I say, you want to see Miss Levi? He don't even have to see me. He can hear it from the other side of the room. And he'll come running in and all excited.
Oh, wow.
You want to see Miss Levi? You want to see Mr. Bean? He's so excited. Have a great day, Lainey. I'm glad we connected again from your new phone. Yeah, I think since we added the cupping and stuff too, we should only do the half hour of this one today.
Okay.
I don't want to overload it and then you'd be sick.
No, you don't want to see my dark side either.
Yeah. No, what do you mean? I already made your dark side. Your backside's the dark side now.
That is true. That is true.
No, but if you were itching, I was like, well, let's see how we feel after 30 minutes. And I think 30 minutes is going to be perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
But a lot of times if I do an hour of the jade on myself, I'll just do like a half hour of the flux, especially if we did, that was the first time we did cupping on you, right?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, and they were pretty dark. We didn't even leave them on there that long. But that's normal for them to be dark if you haven't done it or you haven't done it in a really long time.
Plus, I had the injury coming out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but it came out darker, which it makes sense because we worked on that side last week. But it came out darker on the side we hadn't worked on. The side that you're overusing, we'll say that. Not the injured side.
Yeah, I have already good. It's starting to itch a little bit, so.
I think you just press the heart button. But make sure you subscribe too. Make sure you subscribe. Turn on all your notifications. I know the super chats are turned off because they want more of my tax information. So it's on the list of things to do today. So some of the live stream stuff is not available yet. So today I'm supposed to, right after we get off the phone, call my CPA and get that worked out. I do make jewelry. I haven't made jewelry in a long time. I actually took jewelry making in college. I was thinking about making my own things to go over the third eye. Because if I'm going to do like big events or read cards for a lot of people, my third eye will like start to swell like a week before. And it's not a zit. It's just like a freaking swelling and you can feel like a heartbeat off of my head. So now I try to do a lot of energy healing like the week before. But the person who taught me the singing bowls, like they're a guru, shaman, and a bunch of different stuff too. The first time I did a live stream all it was on Facebook. And it was pretty good. I mean, we had over 1,100 people on it. But I was so tired afterwards. And, they go by No One. And No One reached out and they're like, yeah, you really can't be like plugging into so many people with energy healing and not cover your third eye. And I'm like, I could freaking feel that. Thanks. That would have been good to know before. And then last year I wore this like costume jewelry thing on my head and I was allergic to it. So it was like the opposite. Instead of protecting my third eye, it like further infected it. It was awful. Wow. I'm still getting that stuff out of my face. So this year, my mom had gotten me a pendant. I've had it for a couple years. It's a really pretty Labradorite that she got me from the South Side Inner Path. And it's like perfect to fit over here. Oh, so cool. I'm actually having my friend, she's going to do whatever with my hair and then like, I don't know, braid that in, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a hair person. But she is. That's why it's good to know people who are. Yeah, so and it'll protect it. So that's going to be exciting. I have 2 different options for my Zubilation outfit. It's literally the same option, but just in different colors. And it's got to go with the wings. So I am leaning more towards the blue one. There's a blue and a pink one. It just reminded me, like, they're the same colors of, like, the Sleeping Beauty movie when they kept changing her dress. And then it ended up, like, splattered everywhere. So we're going to try those on with the wings. I'll do a short on that one. And you guys are going to have to vote and tell me if you like the blue one or the pink one better. Zubilation's on the 13th. So I'm glad I have a good, almost a couple weeks of like no extreme peopling so I can build up my energy for that. My friend makes these, she's the one who sponsored, produced the esthetician panel that we did, Fallon. And she also, so she's an esthetician, and then she also has, she makes these amazing candles. They're like the wood wick. They've got crystals in them. They've got different flower petals in them and stuff. Some of them have like bits of gold and stuff. So I bought like 4 of them. I like the little ones because you can like burn the whole thing in one sitting, like in a day. And the one that I burned yesterday was Renew. And I use that one all the way up. I do feel renewed. Might have been that, plus the $125 worth of DoorDash I ordered yesterday too. But guess what? I hadn't ordered anything from Chick-fil-A since March 15th. That's pretty impressive. Thank you, Frankie. Jesus loves you too. All right, well, we are going to get her unstrapped, unhooked, so she can continue with her renewal today. And I love you guys so much. I think we will be doing a live here in a minute. In a minute means like 30, 40 minutes. I'm going to have one of my students do the skin tightening on my stomach, especially over this right hip. I think I realized that I got this hip way better because I'm right-handed, so I could get that at a better angle. So I was going to have people help me with my back and my right side. So we'll do a little live stream with that and we can chat. And thank you. I think you're awesome too. We love learning and growing and glowing together. If you like doing that, make sure you join the Ella Bardo Besties Club. It's totally free. All you have to do is subscribe and turn on all of your notifications. And then we hang out here in the chats. So when you turn on all the notifications, it'll let you know when we're live. And if you have time to come hang out with us, that's awesome. Because I do lives many times, multiple times, and in a day, definitely multiple times in a week. I do take days off. Just because I take a day off doesn't mean I'm taking forever off. You don't have to unfollow. Because some of you unsubscribe and then you resubscribe. But, you know, your girl's got to rest too. Your girl's got to rest too. So, yeah, just make sure you subscribe, turn on all the notifications, and then it'll let you know when we go live. And then if you have time to join us, we always love to have you. And I'm sending you all the love and kisses. For the cupping, it is like an express cupping. It's only like $99. So that's a little quickie. You know, we rub down the back and stuff with the oils, get the lymphatics and all that kind of stuff moving. And it's like a 30-minute treatment. You usually only keep the cups on for like 10 minutes. So, and then we also have the integrated cupping with the jade. So that's what she did today. That one is like so much more beneficial. We go over the back with the jade first, then we follow it with the cupping, and then we go over it with the jade again to really lock in those frequencies. And that one is the same exact price as if you just do the jade for an hour. It's $4.99 for an hour. All right, guys, love you so much. Heart. And I'll see you in a little bit. If you have time, come hang out and watch me scream and giggle, because that's what happens when I get the tightening done too.